Hello all. Today we are going to discuss about global processing using Hub transform. The method discussed in the previous two sections are applicable in situations where knowledge about pixels belonging to individual objects is at least partially available. For example, in regional processing, it makes the sense to link a given set of pixels only if we know that they are the part of the boundary of the meaningful region. Often, we have to work with the unstructured environments in which all we have is an edge image and no knowledge about where the object of interest might be. In such situations, all the pixels are candidates for linking and thus have to be accepted or eliminated based on the predefined global properties. In this section, we develop an approach based on whether the set of pixels lie on the curves of a specified shapes. One detected this curve from the edges or region boundary of interest. The Hub transform can be used to detect line, circle, or other parametric curves. It was introduced in 1962, Hub 1962, and first used to find the lines in images a decade later. The goal is to find the location of lines in images. Given n point in an image, suppose that we want to find the subset of these points that lie on a straight lines. One possible solution is to find the first all lines determined by every pair of points and then find all the subset of points that are close to particular lines. This approach involving finding n minus 1 by 2 is nearly equal to n square line and then performing n in bracket n minus 1 by 2 nearly equal to n cube comparison of every point to all lines. This is the computationally prohibitive task in all but the most traveled applications. Consider a point xi, yi in the xy plane and the general equation of straight line in a slope intercept form is yi is equal to axi plus b. Infinitely many lines pass through xi, yi, but they all satisfy the equation yi is equal to axi plus b for varying the values of a and b. However, writing this equation as b is equal to minus xi a plus yi and considering the AB plane is also called as the parameter space yields the equation of a single line for the fixed pair xi yi. Furthermore, a second point xi yi also has a line in a parameter space associated with it and unless they are parallel. This line intersect the line associated with xi comma yi at some point a dash b dash where a dash is the slope and b dash is the intercept of a line containing both xi comma yi and xj comma yj in a xy plane. In fact, all the points on this line have a lines in a parameter space that intersect at a dash comma b dash. The figure illustrates this concept. In principle, the parameter space line corresponding to all the points xk, yk in the xy plane could not be plotted and the principal lines in that plane could be found by identifying the points in parameter space where the large number of parameter space line intersect. A practical difficulty with these approaches, however, is that approaches infinity as the line approaches the vertical direction. One way round this difficulty is to use the normal representation of a line, that is x cos theta plus y cos theta, x cos theta plus y sin theta is equal to p. The figure A illustrates the geometrical interpretation of the parameters p and theta. A horizontal line has a theta is equal to 0 degree and p being equal to the positive x intercept. Similarly, a vertical line has a theta is equal to 90 degree and p being equal to the positive y intercept, or theta is equal to minus 90 degree with p being equal to the negative y intercept. Each sinusoidal curve in figure B represent the family of the lines that pass through the particular point xk, yk in the xy plane. The intersection point P dash theta dash in figure B correspond to the line that passes through the both xi, yi and xj, yj in figure A. The computational attractiveness of Herb transform arises from sum dividing the p theta parameter space into so-called accumulator cells, as figure C illustrates, where p minimum, p maximum and theta minimum, theta maximum are the expected range of the parameter values. That is, theta is sliced from minus 90 degree to 90 degree and p is sliced from minus d to d, where d is the maximum distance between positive corner in an image. The cell of at coordinates ij with accumulator values of a of ij correspond to the square associated with the parameter space coordinate p theta, pi, theta j. Initially, these cells are set to 0. Then, for every non-background point xk, yk in the xy plane, we let theta equal each of the allowed subdivision values on the theta axis and solve for the corresponding p using the equation, that is p is equal to xk cos theta plus yk sin theta. The resulting p values are then rounded off the nearest allowed cell value along the p axis. If the choice of theta p result in a solution p of q, then we let a of p, q is equal to a of p, q plus 1. At the end of this procedure, a value of p in a of I, j means that p points in the xy plane lie on the line x cos of theta j plus y sin of theta j is equal to p of I. The number of subdivisions in the p theta plane determines the accuracy of the collinearity of this point. It can be shown that the number of computations in the method just discussed in linear with respect to n, the number of non-background points in xy plane. This figure illustrates the Herb transform. The figure A shows an image of size 101 by 101 pixel with the 5 label point, and figure B shows each of these points mapped onto the p theta plane using the subdivisions of 1 unit for the p and theta axis. The range of theta values is plus minus 90 degree and the range of the p-axis is plus minus under root of 2d, where d is the distance between the corners in the image. As figure C shows, each curve has a different sinusoidal shape. The horizontal line resulting from the mapping of point 1 is the special case of sinusoid with zero amplitude. The point label A and B in figure B shows the collinearity detection property of the Herb transform. Although the focus thus far has been on a straight line, the Herb transform is applicable to any function of the form g of v, c is equal to 0, where v is a vector of a coordinates and c is a vector of a coefficients. For example, point line on a circle is represented by the equation, that is x minus c1 bracket square plus y minus c2 bracket square is equal to c3 square, can be detected by using the basic approach. The difference is the presence of the three parameters, that is c1, c2 and c3, which result in the 3D parameter space with a cube like a cell and accumulator of the form of a of I, j, k. The procedure is to increment the C1 and C2, solve for the C3 that satisfy the above equation, and update the accumulator cell associated with the triplet, that is C1, C2, C3. Clearly, the complexity of the Herb transform depends on the number of coordinates and the coefficients in the given functional representation. Further generalizations of the Herb transform to detect the curves with no simple analytic representations are possible, as is the application of transform to grayscale images. The several references dealing with these extensions are included at the end of this chapter. We are discussed at the end of this chapter. We return now to the edge linking problem. An approach based on the Hub transform is as follows. That is, first one is obtain a binary edge image using any of the techniques discussed earlier in this section. Second one is specify subdivision in the p theta plane. Third one is examine the counts of the accumulator cells for the high pixel concentrations, and fourth one is examine the relationship that is principally for continuity between the pixel in the chosen cell. Continuity in this case is based on the computing the distance between disconnected pixels corresponding to a given accumulator cell. A gap in a line associated with a given cell is bridged if the length of the gap is less than the specified threshold. Note that the mere fact of being able to group lines based on the direction is the global concept, applicable over the entire image, requiring only that we examine the pixel associated with the specified accumulator cell. This is the significant advantage over the method we had discussed in the previous two sections. Let us considering the figure. The figure A shows the aerial image of the airport. The objective of this example is used to Hub transform to extract the two edges of the principal runway. A solution to such a problem might be of interest, for instance, in application involving autonomous navigation of air vehicle. The first step is to obtain an edge images. The figure B shows the edge image obtained using Canny algorithm with the same parameter and procedure used in an above example. For the purpose of computing the Hub transform, similar result can be obtained using any one of the edge detection techniques. The figure C shows the Hub parameter space obtained using 1 degree increments for theta and 1 pixel increment for p. The runway of interest is oriented approximately 1 degree of the north direction. So we select the cells corresponding to plus minus 90 degree and containing the highest count because the runways are the longest line oriented in this direction. The small white boxes on the edges of figure C highlight these cells. As mentioned earlier, in connection with the figure B, the Hub transform exhibits adjacency at the edges. Another way of interpreting this property is that a line oriented at a plus 90 degree and a line oriented at a minus 90 degree are equivalent. The figure D shows the line corresponding to the two accumulator cell just discussed, and figure E shows that the line superimposed on the original image. The lines were obtained by joining all the gaps are not exceeding 20% of the image of height approximately 100 pixels. These lines clearly correspond to the edges of the runway of the interest. Next topic is thresholding. Thresholding is a type of image segmentation where we can change the pixel of an image to make the image easier to analyze. In thresholding, we convert an image from the color or grayscale into a binary image, that is one that is a simply black and white image. We are converting the color image into black and white image. This is the function of threshold. Next one is basic of intensity thresholding. Suppose that the intensity histogram of figure A correspond to an image f of x comma y composed of a light object on a dark background in a such a way that the object and the background pixel have a intensity values grouped into two dominant modes. One obvious way to extract the object from the background is to select a threshold t that separates these modes. Then any point x comma y in the image at which f of x comma y is greater than t is called an object point. Otherwise, the object is called a background point. In other words, the segmented image g of x comma y is given by, that is g of x comma y value 1 if f of x comma y is greater than t, and value 0 if f of x comma y is less than equal to t. where the T is the constant applicable over an entire image. The process given in this equation is referred to as a global thresholding. When the value of T changes over an image, we use the term variable thresholding. The term local or regional thresholding is used to sometimes to denote the variable thresholding in which the value T at any point x, y in an image depends on the property of neighborhood of x, y. If T depends on the spatial coordinates x, y themselves, the variable thresholding is often referred to as a dynamic or adaptive thresholding. Use of this term is not universal and one is like to see them used interchangeably in the literature of the image processing. The figure B shows a more difficult thresholding problem involving a histogram with three dominant modes corresponding, for example, two types of light objects on a dark background. Here, multiple thresholding classifies a point x, y as belonging to the background if f of x, y is less than equal to t1 to one object class if f of x, y is lies between from t1 to t2 and two other object class, that is f of x, y is greater than t2, then the segmented image is given by, that is g of xy. The value A is if f of x, y is greater than t2. Value B if t1 is if f of x, y is lies between from t1 to t2, and C for if f of x is less than equal to t1, where A, B, C are any three distinct intensity values. So we conclude that the intensity thresholding is directly related to the width and depth of the valley separating the histogram modes. In turn, the key factor affecting the property of valley S are: first one is the separation between the peaks, second one is the noise content in an image, and third one is the relative size of object and background. Fourth one is the uniformity of the illumination source, and fifth one is the uniformity of the reflectance property of the image. This is all about the basic of intensity thresholding. The next topic is role of noise in an image thresholding. The figure consider the figure A. This simple synthetic image is free of noise, so its histogram consists of two spike modes. The figure D shows segmenting this image into two regions is a trivial task involving the threshold placed anywhere between the two modes. Figure B shows the original image corrupted by a Gaussian noise of 0 mean and a standard deviation of 10 intensity level, although the corresponding histogram modes are now border. Figure E, their separation is large enough so that the depth of valley is between them is sufficient to make the modes easy to separate. A threshold placed midway between the two peaks would be a nice job of segmenting the image. The figure C shows the result of corrupting the image with a Gaussian noise of 0 mean and the standard deviation of 50 intensity levels. The histogram in figure F shows the situation is much more serious now, as there is no way to differentiate between the two modes. Without additional processing, we have the little hope of finding suitable threshold for segmenting this image. Then next one is role of illuminance and reflectance. The figure illustrates the effect of that illumination can have on the histogram of the image. The figure A is the noisy image from figure B, and figure D show his histogram. As before, this image is easily segmentable with a single threshold. We can illustrate the effect of non-uniform illumination by multiplying the image in figure A by a variable intensity function, such as the intensity ramp in figure B, whose histogram is shown in figure E. Figure C shows the product of the image and this shading pattern, as figure F shows the deep valley between the peak was corrupted to the point where the separation of the modes without additional processing is no longer possible. Similar result would be obtained if the illumination was perfectly uniform, but the reflectance of the image was not due, for example, to natural reflectivity variations in the surface of object and or background. Then next topic is basic global thresholding. A global thresholding technique is one which makes the use of a single threshold value for the whole image, where the local thresholding techniques makes the use of unique threshold values for the partition sub-images often from the whole image. In the most of the application is usually enough variability between the images that even if a global thresholding is suitable approach, an algorithm capable of estimating the automatically the threshold value for each image is required. The following is a iterative algorithm can be used for this purpose. First one is select an initial estimate for the global threshold T. Second one is segment the image using T. This will produce two groups of pixels, that is G1 consisting of all the pixels with the intensity value is greater than T, and G2 is consisting of pixels with the value less than equal to T. Compute the average, that is the mean intensity values M1 and M2 for the pixels in G1 and G2 respectively. Fourth one is compute the new threshold value, that is T is equal to 1 by 2 M1 plus M2. Fifth step is repeat step 2 through 4 until the difference between the values of T is successive iterations is smaller than a predefined parameter del T. This simple algorithm works well in a situation where there is a reasonably clear value between the modes of the histogram related to the object and background. Parameter del T is used to control the number of iterations in situation where the speed is an important issue. In general, the larger del T is the fewer iterations the algorithm will perform. The initial threshold must be chosen greater than the minimum and less than a maximum intensity level in the image. The average intensity of the image is a good initial choice for T. Then next topic is optimum global thresholding using Otsu's method. Thresholding may be viewed as a statistical decision theory problem whose objective is to minimize the average error incurred in assigning the pixel to two or more groups, also called classes. This problem is known to have an elegant closed form solution known as a Bayes decision rule. The solution is based on only two parameters. First one is the probability density function of the intensity levels of the each class and the probability that each class occurs in given application. Unfortunately, estimating the PDFs, that is a probability distribution function, is not a trivial matter. So the problem usually is simplified by making the workable assumptions about the form of the PDFs, such as assuming that they are the Gaussian functions. The approach discussed in this section is called Otsu's method. Is an attractive alternative. This method is optimum in the sense that it maximizes the between class variance, a well-known measure used in a statistical discriminant analysis. The basic idea is that well-threshold classes should be distinct with the respect to the intensity values of their pixel, and conversely that the threshold giving the best separation between the classes in terms of their intensity values would be the best threshold. In addition to its optimality, Otsu's method has the important property that it is based entirely on the computation performed on the histogram of the image and easily obtainable 1D array. Let 0, 1, 2, dash 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 up to L minus 1 denote the L distinct intensity levels in the digital image of a size m by n pixel. and let Ni denote the number of pixels with the intensity I. The total number Mn of the pixel in an image is Mn is equal to N0 plus N1 plus N2 dash 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 up to N of L minus 1. The normalized histogram has a component of Pi is equal to Ni upon Mn, from which it follows that summation of I is equal to 0 up to L minus 1 is Pi is equal to 1 if Pi is greater than is equal to 0. Now suppose that we select the threshold, that is T of k is equal to k if k is lies from 0 to L minus 1, and use it to threshold the input images into two classes, that is C1 and C2, where C1 consists of all the pixels in the image with the intensity value in the range of 0 to k, 0k, and C2 consists of the pixel with the values in the range of k plus 1, L minus 1. Using this threshold, the probability P1 of k that a pixel is assigned to, that is threshold into class C1, is given by the cumulative sum, that is Pi of k is equal to summation of I is equal to 0 to k P of I. For example, if we set k is equal to 0, the probability of class C1 having any pixel assigned to it is 0. Similarly, the probability of class C2 is occurring is, that is P2 of k is equal to summation of I is equal to k plus 1 to L minus 1, P of I is equal to 1 minus P1 of k. The mean intensity value of the pixel assigned to class C1 is, that is M1 of k is equal to summation of I is equal to 0 to k I P of I upon C1, where summation of I is equal to 0 to k P I P of C1 upon I Pi upon P of C1. Therefore, 1 upon P1 of k is equal to summation of I is equal to 0 to k I of Pi, where P of I is in given equation. The term P of I of C1 is the first line of the equation, is the probability values of I. The given that I comes from the class C1. The second line in this equation follows from Bayes formula, that is P of A upon B is equal to P of B upon A into P of A upon P of B. The third line follows from the fact that the P of Ci upon I, the probability of Ci given I is 1, because we are dealing only with the values of I from the class C1. Also, P of I is the probability of the ith value, which is simply the ith component of the histogram P of I. Finally, P of Ci is the probability of class C1, which we know from equation 4 is equal to P1 of k. Similarly, the mean intensity value of the pixel assigned to class C2 is, that is M2 of k is equal to summation of I is equal to k plus 1 up to L minus 1 I of P of I upon C2. 1 upon P2 of k is equal to summation of I is equal to k plus 1 up to L minus 1 is equal to I of I into P of I. The cumulative mean up to label k is given by, that is M of k is equal to summation of I is equal to 0 to k I of Pi. The average intensity of the entire image, that is a global mean, is given by Mg is equal to summation of I is equal to 0 to L minus 1 I into P of I. The validity of the following two equations can be verified by the direct substitution of the preceding result, that is P1 M1 plus P2 M2 is equal to Mg and P1 plus P2 is equal to 1, where we have omitted the Ks temporarily in favor of national clarity. In order to evaluate the goodness of the threshold at the level k, we use the normalized dimensionless metric, that is n is equal to sigma square b upon sigma square g, where sigma g square is the global variance. Sigma g square is equal to summation of I is equal to 0 to L minus 1, that is I minus mg bracket square into P of I, and sigma b square is the between the class variance, defined as sigma b square is equal to P1 m1 minus mg bracket square plus P2 m2 minus mg bracket square. This expression can also be written as, that is sigma square b is equal to P1 P2 in bracket m1 minus m2 bracket square is equal to mg in P1 minus m bracket square upon P1 in bracket 1 minus P1. Reintroducing k, we have the final results, that is n of k is equal to sigma b square k upon sigma g square. and sigma b square k is equal to mg p1k minus m of k bracket square upon p1k into 1 minus p1k. Then the optimal threshold is the value k that maximizes del b square k, that is del b square dot max if k is lies from 0 to L minus 1 sigma b square k. Once k dash has been obtained, the input image f of xy is segmented as before, that is g of xy value 1 if f of xy is greater than k dash, and g by 0 value if f of x comma y is less than equal to k dash. From above all points, the odds-2 algorithm may be summarized as follows. First one is compute the normalized histogram of the input image. Denote the components of the histogram by pi, I is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to L minus 1. Second, compute the cumulative sum P1k for k is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to L minus 1 using the equation 10.34. Compute the cumulative sum m of k for k is from 0, 1 to dash 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 up to L minus 1 using the equation 10.38. Compute the global intensity mean mg using the equation. Compute the between class variance sigma b square for k is equal to 0, 1, 2 dash 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 L minus 1 by using the equation. Obtain the odds-2 threshold, that is k dash, as the values of k for which del b square sigma b square k is a maximum. If the maximum is not unique, obtain k dash by averaging the values of k correspond by the various maxima detected. And seventh is obtain the separate ability measure n dash by evaluating the equation at k is equal to k dash. Next topic is using image smoothing to improve the thresholding. When noise cannot be reduced at the source and thresholding is the segmentation method of a choice, a technique that often enhances performance is to smooth the image prior to thresholding. We illustrate the approach with an example. Let us considering the figure A in the image from figure C. Figure B shows its histogram and figure C is the image threshold using odds-2 method. Every black point in the white region and every white point in the black region is a thresholding error. So the segmentation was highly unsuccessful. Figure D shows the result of smoothing the noise image with averaging mass of a size 5 by 5, and figure E is this histogram. The improvement in the shape of the histogram is due to smoothing is evident, and we would expect the thresholding of the smooth image to be nearly perfect. As figure F shows, this indeed was the case. The slight distortion of the boundary between the object and background in the segmented smooth image was caused by blurring of the boundary. In fact, the more aggressively we smooth and by the blurring of the boundary, in fact, the more aggressively we smooth an image, the more boundary errors we should anticipate in the segmented region. Next, we consider the effect of reducing the size of region, the figure A with respect to the background. The figure A shows the result. The noise with this image is additive. Gaussian noise with a zero mean and a standard deviation of 10 intensity pixels. As a figure B shows, the histogram has no clear valley, so we would expect the segmentation to fail, a fact that is confirmed by the result in figure C. The figure D shows the image smooth with an averaging mass of size 5 by 5. Figure E is the corresponding histogram. As expected, the net effect was to reduce the spread of the histogram, but the distribution still is a unimodal. As figure F shows, segmentation failed again. The reason for the failure can be traced to the fact that the region is so small that its contribution to the histogram is insignificant compared to the intensity spread caused by noise. In situations such as these, the approach discussed in the following next section is the more likely to succeed. This is all about the global thresholding. Thank you.